A very good afternoon. You're here with Harlequin D for a bit more Tyrant Unleashed Frenzy Brawling. Everything was going very well yesterday, up until last night. I think when I stopped playing yesterday, I was about rank 260, with about 6 battles in hand, and the game plan, was to go out, have a couple of pints with my mates, get back, and do a bit more brawling before bed. What actually transpired was that I rolled in 6 hours later after mixing vast quantities of Guinness with Jägerbombs, which is never a good idea. Woke up this morning to scowls from my girlfriend, who had to look after me last night, the poor suffering girlfriend of mine, and looked into Tyrant Unleashed, and I'd missed about 7 or 8 battles, and my ranking had plummeted to about 3,000, and yeah, not great news. So we're now sitting here, we're at rank 1,577, we've got 22 games in hand. So I've got some serious work to do. I'm about 7 or 8 battles short on the score compared to other people. So it's an uphill battle from now. I really shouldn't have gone out last night and mixed that amount of alcohol together. But it is what it is. So we really desperately need to land in the 1,500. We're still on track to do so. We do want to pick up those 2 cards, so we're just going to go ahead and do maybe, I don't know, 5 or 6 battles and just see how it goes. But we do need a little bit of luck, and we really need to start winning pretty much everything. We're going in with the same deck, no changes, seems to be working well, so we'll just roll that as per the last video and see how we get on. So, first battle, let's see what we get. Take the auto off. And we've got what is probably going to be a mono Imperial deck. So the legendary commander, Helcon, enhance all armor 1, heal Imperial 2, strike 2. As soon as you see that come out, you're pretty much guaranteed that it's going to be a mono Imperial, maybe with 1 or 2 more cards that are kind of specific, in the same way that I run the Augur Ream, so that all the effects land on the Augur Ream, but typically it's going to be some sort of mono Imperial deck. First card out is an absolute monster, Steadfast Assailant, Rally Imperial 6, Protect Imperial 5, Berserk 2. That's like, what? So we really need to close this card down. Probably get some jams on it. The Protect's going to be nasty. We've got Protect Imperial 5 going on, plus, what have we got over here? Enhance all armor. No armor on this card. Okay, so probably going to open with the Augur Ream. Should be able to get the jam off. There's no evade on this card. We've got some good healing in our opening hand, and the sort of second tank in the form of the Trampling Anvil. So let's go ahead and play the Augur Ream. We'll see what card comes out next. There you go. So this mono Imperial deck is kind of a fairly nice one. Could be a lot of trouble if it gets going. We're likely to see some potatoes coming in, those sort of Aegis quads or whatever, later on for some healing. But at the moment we've got the Swift Helion, Rally all Imperial 2, Strike 4, Siege all 2. So we do draw our Taz, which is nice, but we're going to play the healing now because we need to keep our cards alive, try and get a jam off. There you go, there's the potato, Sculpted Aegis. So it just sits there, doesn't do much damage but heals everything for 4. Very hard to kill. Essentially what we'll be trying to do is kill the upfront cards and then flank the Aegis, but we're not drawing our Constrictor at the moment. So we're going to go ahead at this point now. Do I play the Trampling Anvil or the Taz? I'm going to be taking strike 4. Going to have the healing coming in. Probably go ahead and play the Trampling Anvil at this point. Get a little bit of tank up front. So there's the jam. Did land on the Steadfast Assailant, which is going to slow the Berserk down. Augur Ream comes out. This is a very nasty deck. There's the Constrictor, so we will be playing that next to try and get that sort of working. So still putting on some good damage onto the Steadfast Assailant. We need the Protect to come up for the Trampling Anvil, because otherwise he's going to go down soon. Our Sanctuary and the healing has probably got, we've got some Siege out here, Siege all 2, so that's going to be up for a while. I can't see what the card they played behind. Is that a Taz? It looks like a Taz quad to me behind there. So we'll go ahead and play the additional healing for the Constrictor. Yep. So we're going to get jammed. We have taken down the Assailant, which is good news. I have to deal with this strike coming down upon us. There's the jam from the Augur Ream, there's the jam from the Taz Quad. So 2 of our cards are now jammed. The Augur Ream's going to go down in fairly shortly. We're going to go ahead and play the Arc Nova Elite. So this is a very nice deck actually. 1 Evil Panda, yeah, I salute. And we've got the Stoic card coming out as well. So at this point it's not looking particularly good for our deck. We're running seriously low on HP, although they have jammed twice now, but the strike's going to start coming out. The Augur Ream should take out, yeah, there's no armor on that, so the Augur Ream will take out the Swift Helion in this go. That's not going to go down, but the idea is that we try and kill these cards and then flank it, whether or not that happens, because we are running low on HP. The Sanctuary's still up. At least the Taz will get a heal off. Hopefully the heal will land on the Demi. We shall see. So unluckily the jam actually ran on the Helion instead of something useful. Although these cards would have evaded it, so yeah. Still Maiden comes out, and we desperately just cross our fingers at this point. The game is now pretty much out of our hands. So the strike will take out the Taz here, boom, which is pretty good. So yeah, this is a very close match at this point. The Augur Ream's not going to go down because the potatoes moved over to the left. The Trampling Anvil tank actually took the Augur Ream's punch. The Constrictor, if that gets healed by the Taz, will be a good thing at this point, which is lovely. And here comes the flanking. So as I said, we're not going to take out the potato, but what we can do is try and take out the rest of the cards and actually deal with the commander for a flanking maneuver. And I think we're actually going to be fine here. But for a moment that was a little bit trippy, particularly when you're hungover and you're not thinking entirely coherently, but we will take that win. The Mono Imperial decks, kind of when they get going with that amount of heal, can be truly scary, but that's okay. We did okay though. So we're now back up into the 1500 rank, which is nice. Let's do another battle and see what we pick up. So Barracus, instant play on the Elite Squadron, which is sort of a nasty card. Strike 4, Pierce 5, Protect Imperial 3. We need something to slow that down. It's going to do, if I play the Taz, you see it's going to do 8. Plus you'll get a Enfeeble 1 on the Taz, because the Taz hasn't got evade. So the Taz would take Enfeeble 1, then it would take a strike for 2, which would put it at 15. Then it would take the strike for 5, so that would be 10. Take a hit for 5 because of the Enfeeble. So that's going to put it on 5 straight off the bat. It will jam and then probably kill it actually. Although the Protect Imperial 3. So the rally is going to be something around the area. Yes, probably not the best card to play on that one. Still Maiden I could sacrifice, but that's not ideal either. The Nova Elite would evade some of the things being thrown at it. The Enfeeble, the Double Strike. I think we might have to play the Arc Nova Elite and then back it up with the Taz. So there you go. Blighted Fortifier. I don't like the sound of that card. I haven't come across this before. Armor 4, Enfeeble 2, Berserk 4. So that looks like it's a very nasty card. I really don't want to let that get going. So do we play the Augur or the Taz? I think we need to play the Taz to start healing the Arc Nova Elite up, if possible. And then the Augur next, unless the Demi comes out. So this is a nightmare card as well. Berserk 2, Poison 2, Counter 5, 615 on a 1 drop. I mean that's just devastating. So we will play some more jam. Okay, we did get the heal off on the Arc Nova, that's good. We jammed this horrible card over here. Sanctuary comes out for the enemy. So we're going to play our Sanctuary as well. More jam coming in for the enemy. This is nasty right here. So now we're taking poison. This card's growing. We're going to play the Demi Constrictor at that point. We do have some heal out on the field, which is absolutely necessary. The Augur's probably going to go down next turn. I can't remember how much poison it's taking. Trampling Anvil comes out next. And with a little bit of luck, we'll have the survivability in the deck to continue this. I mean, that could have gone either way, really, with those cards. The Blighted Fortifier is a scary card, but it is a Force ED, and as you've probably already guessed from the meta, the Taz has gone down there. From the meta, it's all about the quick cards coming out, and that's the only reason that we've possibly won this fight here, is that we managed to take out that card before it started to do damage. A healing card coming out there in the Dignified Vigil. But at this point, we've got our Demi-Constrictor tank still in the field. The Sacred Sanctuary is still up, so we should be good. Taking some strike. There's nothing really to worry about with the hill. All three coming in from the Sanctuary. And whatever happens here, we can flank because the Purifier is going to be rallying itself, getting around the side. Still Maiden's nearly ready to come out. And yeah, we'll take that. Thank you very much. So the second fight, both of those two fights could have been losses. It's nice that I'm having to think about it a lot more than previously. I'm not just going in and going, well, that's over, or going in and just kind of playing the cards any which way I want and getting a win. I don't know whether I'm having to think about it more because I'm desperately hungover or because it is working on the matchmaking. But let's do one more, see what we get. So this is Nexor, Enhanced Leech 2, Protect Xeno 2, and Enfeeble 1. So this is great for a Xeno deck. There was a comment on the video in the forum where I posted based on the last video, which said I should think about using Nexor as the commander. It's a really good point. I ran a quick sim with Nexor as the commander because I have 3 Xeno cards, so they would benefit the Taz quad, the Arc Nova Elite, and obviously the Demi Constrictor. They'll benefit from the Protect Xeno 2. And it did sim better. I think the sim results went up from about 32% to 34-35%. My biggest issue with that is that I do not have a maxed Nexor, and as I've talked about a few times in the past, the SP is the bottleneck, and I need to put that SP into a different direction in the short term. But if I had one, I'd definitely be playing it as my commander at the moment because, as I mentioned last time, I'm not benefiting from the Enhanced Poison 2. And mainly the Enfeeble 1 is used to strip out some of the evade from an enemy deck. But anyway, let's get back to this match. Lord Dark 666. So we've got Nexor out, and we have a Ton Blocks out. So counter 6, Enfeeble 4, Strike all 2. It's a lot of strike with the Enfeeble. So the Enfeeble 4 plus the 6 gives you a hit of 10, then a strike of 6 all. That's just horrendous. So we're going to need to do something about this card. We don't have a lot of choices in our opening hand. We can either play the Demi Constrictor, although it's going to take a while for this card to kill itself against the Demi Constrictor, or we can play the Sacred Sanctuary and try and get a quick card out on the next go, which is probably what we'll do. If we can get Taz in our opening hand, in our next draw, that would be good because it can be hitting and then healing itself off the counter. But 21 hit points is quite a lot to get through. So let's play the Sacred out. If the Taz doesn't come out, then we will play the Demi Constrictor. They put a Taz. I don't want to be playing the Arc Nova Elite in front of this. We need it behind the Demi Constrictor in the hope that the Enfeeble does come. So we'll play the Demi Constrictor. I'm not liking this Ton Blocks at all. That's going to start hurting us a lot. Let's play the Trampling Anvil at this point because I don't want the Arc Nova to go down to the Taz. We have the Zillaclaw out, more counter, and we've got a Xeno Susie out as well, which is quite a nasty card. So we're going to bring in our own Taz at this point to try and heal up the Demi-Constrictor. Is that a good idea? Or do we play the Arc Nova? And then the Taz next. If I bring in the Taz, it's going to get jammed. Trampoline might get jammed. Yeah, let's play the Taz. A moment of indecision right there. Arc Nova comes out for the enemy. We're taking a huge amount of damage here. Maybe I shouldn't have played that Taz. Right, let's get some more jams out and try and slow this deck down, because this is getting a bit scary at this point. We have got a jam off against the Zillaclaw, but our Taz is dying quickly to poison here, and to strike, and to all sorts of nasty stuff. And you can see that we're rapidly getting wiped from the board, but we'll continue and see if this Demi-Constrictor can't turn the battle for us. Unfortunately, it's up against the Taz, so the Taz is going to be healing itself. We are going to get a jam off next go, which we're going to need. Hopefully it will land on something useful, not something with evade, because that would just be a really sorry state of affairs. Bring in the Purifier, and the Constrictor will deal with the Taz at that point. The Augureem's going to deal with the Zillaclaw, but is dying to will die to the strike now from the Arc Nova Elite. We do have a Constrictor out for the enemy as well, so I think at the moment this is not looking like a battle we can win. We're out of plays now, so it is just down to the fight. What's on the board is on the board. There's quite a lot of damage coming out. At least our Demi-Constrictor's Enfeeble is affecting 2 cards of the deck, the other 2 cards having evade. But we've got the Arc Nova up behind the Demi-Constrictor, so the strikes are going to be powerful. I'm going to take the Susie down at that point, doing quite a lot of damage there, so that's a good recovery at this point. The strike is real. The Arc Nova Elite is going to kill itself on the Demi-Constrictor. I tell you what, that Demi-Constrictor is just absolutely amazing. I don't think I would have won this fight with the deck that I was running the last Brawl, so it just goes to show doing the right amount of upfront meta work with simulations and whatnot really does pay off. Maybe I could have played the Taz in a different order. I think I wasted the Taz in this match. It probably should have been the Nova Elite, but it seems that we've kind of got away with it, which is cool, because we do need these wins. There you go. So that's 3 fights. I think we're on about sort of 17 minutes or there, so I'm going to cut the video at that point. If you like what you see, do give me a like in the video below. Subscribe if you'd like to see more. Other than that, Harlequin D signing out.